Hey guys, it's me, Courtney. I'm gonna do the TV in the background. But anyway, I'm gonna do a quick video for you guys today, and it's gonna be books I've read. This is not all Pinterest. This is on a board on Pinterest, and that I created. And it's got 10 pins, and it's got 10 books I read. And so I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about each of the books I've read. So that's Sadie walking behind it. I'm gonna tell you guys about each of the books I've read. These are not all the books I've read in my entire life. Obviously, I've read a lot more books. I'm an avid bookworm. If you guys there's something you guys don't know about me, if it is, you guys might do. But I'm an avid bookworm, and I love to read. Obviously, I take breaks between books I read, but I love to read. I actually read until I get myself a headache, and I have to force myself to stop because, especially Karen Kingsbury, like y'all, she's amazing. Anyway, so here I'm gonna show you guys this. Okay. A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. Any of you guys don't know, that is a famous book of his that was made into a movie. I read this. I think I finished it in like 48 hours. I think because it was when I got my Kindle on. I got my Kindle, I can't remember, Christmas 2011, 12, something like that was when I got my first Kindle. And I think that was the first book I got, because I think I got, my parents gave me a gift card or something, I was allowed to get, like, one book. And that was the book I got, and I read it, I started it on Christmas Day, December 25th, and I think I finished it on December 27th. I was at my grandma's friend's house, and I think I had my Kindle there, and she didn't have Wi-Fi, but, you know, sometimes with the Kindles, sometimes you don't need Wi-Fi, so I read it, like, a matter of, 2 days. So, then I have the Red Glove series by Karen Kingsbury. I read that this year, actually. It had 4 stories, and it all related around a glove and a Christmas. Very good stories. One story was called Maggie's Miracle, which was the reason I read it. It was like a girl her husband had passed away, and she never really she cared about her husband, and she never really felt like she knew true love. And she remembered true love from a boy that she had met at summer camp, and then her little boy needed a companion as a father, and that's all I'm going to tell you guys. But it was a really beautiful book. Then the other story in that series was Hannah's Hope, which was about a girl that trying to find her father. Her mom her parents had split, and she hadn't known her dad since she hadn't seen her dad since she was like 4. So yeah. And then there was oh gosh, Hannah's Song, and that was a really good story. Hannah's Song was about a woman that was set in the 1940s and kind of portrayed her love story with her husband, and her husband has passed, but she's kind of recounting the story and to help another person, helping another person. I don't want to give you guys too much of it. And then we have Gideon's Gift. Gideon's Gift is about a girl that helps out a man that's homeless. So yeah. Then we have Karen Kingsbury, Ever After. Ever After is the second book in the series, and the other book is Even Now. Even Now surrounds a teen pregnancy, and the stress of the teen pregnancy on the family caused the families to split, and that's all I'll give you guys because it's going to give too much away. And then Ever After follows the story after they after everything's pretty much resolved, or semi-resolved, with the family, and even now this situation. And then in the second book, Ever After, it kind of is more about, the first book is more about the couple that had the teen pregnancy, and the second book is more about the daughter. It's also about the teen, because I'm not going to tell you guys how or why or anyway, but the people that had the teen pregnancy, the daughter, together, they end up getting back together, and they have struggles. But the second book really focuses on their daughter, who is now like 20, in her relationship with a guy in the at the Fort Lewis base camp, like air base camp. So yeah. Priceless. You guys know this. Priceless for King Country. And I read it in like a week or 6 days or something like that. It was a pretty long book, but I liked it because it had short chapters. But yeah. It was priceless. Oh, so priceless. I did an unboxing of the book if you guys don't remember that. But it was a pretty good book. It was, about the whole human trafficking and stuff like that. So yeah, Karen Kingsbury, 1,000 Tomorrows. 1,000 Tomorrows by Karen Kingsbury is probably one of the most depressing books I have ever read. I will put that in. To this day, I still think about it. Like, that book, first book I read first was The Chance, which I'll get to in a minute. And I thought that book was sad, and I thought that book would make me cry, but oh my gosh. This one, I'm not even going to go into detail because it's just too sad, but it's about a barrel racer and a bull rider, and the barrel racer has had chronic illness, and they bond, and the barrel racer is a girl that has a chronic illness, and the bull rider is obviously a boy, and he has nothing wrong. He's healthy, but they get together and they get married, and they have to deal with the issues of her chronic illness, and yeah, it's a good book, but you have to have a really emotional background if you read it. I'm not going to say I don't recommend this book, but if you have a lot of health problems, or I don't know how to say this, but if you're a tender-hearted person and you've been through a lot of medical trials, I would not recommend this book for you. It's just, it's too emotional. But anyway. And then there's The Chance, which you guys know it's a really, one of the it was sad, but it was one of the happiest endings in her book. It was about this couple that they were friends, and then they grew up to kind of like each other by the time they were 15. And then she had to move because something happened, and then they never talked to each other, and then 11 years passed by, and they have this, when they were 15 and she found out she was going to have to move. I'm not going to tell you guys the reason she had to move because it's kind of the basis of the book, but so cute, my doggy's being cute. They bury this box, and they come back 11 years later, and things have changed a lot in 11 years. Not so much for the male character, but a lot of things have changed for the female character. So yeah. Then it's A Bend in the Road. A Bend in the Road is a Nicholas Sparks novel, and it is about it's a murder mystery kind of, but it's really good. I was shocked I was able to read it. Sometimes I don't do good with stuff like that, but I was able to read it, and it was actually pretty good. Had a good ending. I call Nicholas Sparks I call Karen Kingsbury the Nicholas Sparks, the Christian author of Nicholas Sparks, because she writes a lot like Nicholas Sparks, but she has a very godly aspect. So yeah. That's the only difference for me is that, Karen Kingsbury incorporates God into the stories and Nicholas Sparks does not. That's basically the only thing. So, yeah. Next one is Karen Kingsbury Unlocked. Unlocked is a story that she wrote about, she based it on somebody that she actually knew, I believe. And she had based on somebody she actually knew. And it was about this autistic boy. I don't think the autistic boy actually had a bond with a girl, like a friend, when he was little, but she did base it on this certain boy, but she added the girl in there, and it was like, this boy, the autistic boy, was nonverbal, and he didn't really communicate in any way, but he loved to watch this video of him and this girl when they were little. And the illness kind of separated their families when he developing autism, and so they kind of stopped talking, and in the end they kind of rekindled their friendship, and it's really cool. But yeah, basically I just told the whole book. And then the last song is self-explanatory. You guys know the famous Miley Cyrus movie, Nicholas Sparks. I read this in 7th grade, and I read this a lot during rainy days in 7th grade. I remember reading it, and it was probably the longest book that I had read, not the longest book I'd read, but I was in 7th grade, so I think the last song was the first big, not gonna say big book, but a book under 200 pages, over 200 pages that I read. It was probably So, yeah, that's pretty much all the ones I've got on my list. I've also read The Girl Who Ate Chicken Feet. That was a weird book. I read it in 5th grade. Something about kittens I read school library. I've read and then that's pretty much the major books that I've read. But I've read a lot more, obviously. But yeah. Anyway. And yeah, like I've said, I've read Rebecca St. James, a book of Merciful Scars. I've read a lot of the Christian books. But anyway, bye for now, guys. I'm hoping to get this video up for you guys.